Are you struggling to build or debug your app because it has too many dependencies and you don't have a good strategy for copying data from some realistic environment, or maybe mocking out some API that you don't really control? Is it limiting the way that you can actually interact and build in a rapid development cycle? If so, I'm going to show you how to use SpeedScale and the free Proximock tool to actually record from a remote environment and then use that like a model to where your app can run against all kinds of systems without you actually having to copy them or know anything about them. Now, let me get started with a very basic Go service that depends on a lot of other services. It is a set of APIs or REST calls that cause it to make downstream connections to things like a Postgres database, Auth0, and the Google APIs. Now, at this point, if I want to develop locally, I either have to come up with some sort of mocking strategy where I can simulate those and have to go build all that myself, or I have to go and provision a cloud environment and start spending a bunch of money to replicate a real environment. Now, Proximock gives us another option. So when I run this, you're probably familiar with it. It starts up, if I run it in the debugger, and it starts complaining because it says I can't open up a connection to the database. I'm going to show you how to solve this very quickly. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is open up the SpeedScale console, and I'm assuming that my platform team has installed the SpeedScale listener, which is very easy to do, but it has to be done. I'm going to click on the user service because that's what I'm developing against. And this is going to give me visibility into a real running version of the user system, just like if you had a monitoring system. And I see here it's connected to Postgres, OpenAPI, or an OpenAI, Auth0, and a bunch of other systems. I don't have to know anything about this. I can go and look into this and get all the details, but I'm going to do something a lot simpler. I'm just going to say, save this set of traffic and generate for me a model that I can use locally. So I didn't actually have to touch the system, and it doesn't impact the running system anywhere. Now, once this is done and completed, I'm going to get a snapshot ID. This is like a pointer to a package of traffic that I can use, or a model. So I copy that to my clipboard. Now, I'm going to go and pull that model down to my local machine. And I'm going to do that by UUID. Now, once this is done downloading, I now have a prepackaged set of services that I can use like they're the real thing, and they'll actually know the real responses. So I won't get some dummy data, I'll get what really happened. Now that this is complete, I'm going to start typing before it's done because I'm impatient. I'm going to run the Proximock mock command, and I'm going to give it that same snapshot ID. Now what this is going to cause Proximock to do is spin up, with very low footprint, low memory, low CPU, it's going to spin up a copy of that Postgres and those OpenAI and Auth0 APIs, right? But it's going to do it in such a way that we don't actually have to stand up the database. It's just going to simulate it from the network perspective. Now, in order for this to work, I have to tell my app to use a set of proxy variables that will reroute it to the to Proximock instead of to the outside internet. Now, this is really easy to do. Most modern languages support this type of activity. So I'm going to go to my launch.json, and I'm going to paste in these variables. I'm going to reformat it into JSON the way it likes, and save this. Now these are going to set 3 environment variables when my app runs in the debugger next. One of them is going to handle HTTP, the next one HTTPS, and the other is TCP, which is honored by the Postgres SDK. Now when I go back and run the service again, it's going to talk to Proximock instead of to the outside world. And it's going to get realistic sets of responses. And we can see here now that all of our errors are gone. We're getting real row counts, we're getting real users, and this looks like a real system. I can go and run APIs against it, and I am decoupled from production, and I can run totally locally without having to depend on anyone. Hope this was helpful, and please visit speedscale.com or proximock.io if you'd like to learn more. Thank you.